back here for the very first time with explaining the plot to video games I haven't played. A series I've decided to make right now. I don't know why I called it a series, because I have no idea if I'm going to do more than one. That was a wrong way to introduce it. I'm very sorry. It was a random video idea I had, though, because it's occurred to me that there are a lot of games I'm only familiar with in the vaguest passing sense. Like, I've heard the name and maybe a few things about them, which is part of why I'm someone who really wants to try a whole lot of games, because there are a lot of games I have heard about, having been in the gaming space for a while and having, I like to think, fairly varied tastes in games. But there are so many that I do not know the plot of, basically at all, and I thought it would be funny if I tried to explain the plot of games I've never played. So I've got before me a short list of such games, some of which I know a little bit about just from cultural osmosis and being time in the game verse and things, but most of which I have either never played for a second or I've only played a second. Accompanying my 100% accurate explanation will be a speed sketch done by me after the fact, depicting what the hell I think the game is about. Some of these I have a better sense of than others. So let's kick it off with Tomb Raider! Oh, and I should probably say, there's a very small chance that the few cultural osmosis-y details I know about some of these games contain some spoilers, so soft spoiler warning for any of the games I bring up, but I doubt I'll get anything right. So you probably shouldn't have to worry. Tomb Raider is about a woman named Lara Croft who's like a rich aristocrat who's bored of being a rich aristocrat, and I'm guessing, I think she inherited all her mansion and all her like archaeology stuff from her dad, so I'm guessing he was like a crack archaeologist. So she follows, and even though could live a life of luxury and decadence, she's like all adrenaline junkie and stuff, and so she's like, I'm gonna do what my dad did and go be an archaeologist and stuff, but she has a very trigger-happy idea of what archaeology is, so she goes and shoots monsters and people and takes their stuff. She's like an Indiana Jones Uncharted situation, except with way more shooting. And there are sci-fi elements. Sometimes she goes into an old, like, pyramid, and it's like, haha, I found the relic, but it turns out actually it was Jurassic Park and there are dinosaurs there. End of segment. Next game. The Sly Cooper series is about a raccoon named Sly. I'm fairly certain. He has friends. One of whom is named Bentley and is like a turtle. The other one is named Murray and is a hippo. And there's this fox cop who named Carmelita or something like that, with whom he has a maybe kind of sort of flirty thing with. So even though he's a thief and he steals things, they kind of get on, and even though neither of them would admit it to each other, they kind of are always letting each other off the hook, I assume. Oh, that's another thing. He has a hook. It's shiny. I don't know if it has any special lore implications, if it's like it was passed down to him by a mentor or something, or if it's just a shiny hook. So he steals stuff. He and his friends steal stuff, but they're considered morally upstanding, so I'm assuming they like steal weapons from bad people so they can't use them, or I'm not assuming, I know, because I'm an expert on the game. Steals weapons from bad people so they can't use them, or just steals from the rich to give to the poor, some noble thing like that. I mean, all those noble things, because you played the same game that I did, and we know how it goes. The Titanfall series is a warfare game. Robots constantly fall from the sky, and the reason for that is quite simple, because they're being deployed from space to help in the war efforts between some humans and some other humans, I expect. Or there could be monsters. There were monsters, I'm fairly sure, maybe. So the humans are fighting monsters and maybe rogue factions of people who, ever since the happening, when all the monsters came out of the ground, people decided, well, what would be better for the monsters from the ground would be robots from the sky to counter them. So some of the people are happy that the world is bad because of all the monsters that came out of the ground, and so they're fighting to keep the governments out of power, and some of the governments are like, we'll throw giant robots from space at the people who are dissidents and the monsters. And that's what Titanfall's about. The Xenoblade Chronicles series. I've only ever played X, and it's, sort of a spin-off, and it's kind of detached from the rest of them. But the general main series, Xenoblade and Xenoblade 2 and Xenoblade 3, lovely naming, by the way, beautiful, easy to keep track of. The world is all ocean except for these two giant statues on which everyone lives. There are fights between people and robots, including one big robot named Metal Face. Sounds vaguely right. The first game you play is a guy called Shulk, who is like a scrapper. He works in a junkyard or something. He gets a sword called the Monado that gives him awakens some latent clairvoyant powers or something. And he and his buddies go to stop the robot uprising, I expect. That would kind of fit vaguely with some of the plot elements from Xenoblade Chronicles X if it was robot-based. Xenoblade 2 takes place in the sky above that world, of course. There's a giant flying whale. No, I'm not just listing everything I know from Smash Bros. You play as a dude named Rex, who is kind of like a scrapper. He's like an underwater salvage guy. You get swords that have people inside of them in a sort of worrying contract environment. I'm gonna guess that those rascally robots are up to no good again, so you're attacking them with your sword friends. And you only sword friend people can fight the robots because the robots are only susceptible to swords. They don't care about arrows. There are probably characters who fight with arrows in those games. Oh, and Xenoblade 3, I don't know jack shit about. There's a character named Noah in it. I think there's a character named Nia in it, unless that's Xenoblade 2, who is like a snarky lady with cat ears. I don't know anything more about Xenoblade. There's someone whose name starts with an E who has wings for a head, and I'm blanking on anything else about Xenoblade 3 that I've absorbed through the years, so let's just talk more about Xenoblade 2. The two spirit sword people who you get on Rex's side are named Pyra and Mithra. Pyra is like a cheery, happy-go-lucky, friendly sort who does fire. Mithra's like a stern, grouchy sort who does lightning or something. And they're made of the same essence, and they're part of the same sword, but they're like technically something more akin to siblings. And a segment, Ori and the Blind Forest, is the next game I have on the list, which panics me because now that I'm saying it out loud, I don't think I know anything about this game. You play as Ori. I presume the forest you're in is maybe it's filled with a lot of ignorant people, and hence it's a rhetorically blind forest, as in they're blind to the emotions of others. I'm gonna guess because the game is so pretty and environmentally based that you are trying to prevent some kind of pollution from taking over the whole thing. And to that end, Ori must parkour off of some stuff, avoid getting murdered by the denizens of the forest and whatever is polluting the forest, and make it so that global warming don't kill us all, probably. Sonic Forces. Sonic gets whisked away to another dimension by one Dr. Ivo Robotnik Eggman, sir. Ivo Eggman Robotnik, whatever. Eggman's like, hell yeah, now I can make Eggman Empire, whatever he wants to do with the world now that Sonic's gone. There's like a resistance, so he's mostly taking over the world because Sonic wasn't there to stop him, which seems, I feel like there are a lot of other capable people other than Sonic who could have stopped him, but the thing is, there was a good reason for that was explained in the game why they didn't stop him, and since I have played it, and you have played it, we both know the reason, so I don't need to say it out loud. And so, your custom character, your Sonic OC, is like, the newest recruit to the Sonic Forces, the titular Sonic Forces, who are like the resistance army made in his name in his absence. And so I assume like Amy put it together or something. And so Amy's like, all right, new recruit, we're gonna fight Robotnik. And that's the plot of that. And hopefully get Sonic back from the other dimension. Or everyone thinks he's dead or something. Genshin Impact! I did play like an hour of this or so, but not enough to like get anywhere. Genshin Impact, the plot of this game is, the land is full of way too many cute girls. So the local spirit population, who are called the Fatui or the Fatui or something like that, are like, we gotta put in it. So they're just like, we gotta kill every cute girl in sight, and the boys. There are a bunch of cute boys, plenty of cute boys as well, as I'm well apprised. Don't read into too much to why I said that's. Not, ignore that part. I don't know how I would know that having not played the game. So they're like, the people are too cute, so we need to kill them to harvest their adorability energy or something. And also to, cull the numbers of cute people in the land. And obviously, playing as a bunch of cute anime 20-somethings yourself, you're all like, well, that can't stand. We'll fight back against you, evil spirits. And then there are something about, are there like geothermal vents or fountains in the world that like explode out with bad mojo and magic? Or am I thinking of some other game? I mean, of course, since I 100%ed Genshin Impact, I know all about what happened. But it's also, it's a live service game to some degree, so they're updating the story constantly, so who can say where it'll go next chapter. The Mass Effect series. Space. Aliens. You play as Commander Shepard, I'm fairly confident, who is a commander of some human forces and later some aliens. You're like ex-military. You were part of the military back on Earth before space travel was discovered. That can't be right. There's so much space going on that they can't have discovered it in your lifetime. I must be misremembering. It's probably more like You're an elite human trained, I don't know why you're special or why you're the protagonist. You're some human who's in space doing geopolitical, but in space, interstellar political complex negotiations and battles and things. You occasionally shoot things, you occasionally flirt with your crewmates, and then you occasionally talk your way through intergalactic war between you and... Are Krogans from Guild Wars, or are they from Mass Effect? That's Guild Wars, isn't it? Which has nothing in common with Mass Effect really at all. And there's maybe some super big apocalyptic stuff where, like, the whole galaxy will blow up if some certain contaminant isn't contained, or if some certain super bomb planet isn't stopped, probably. I mean, definitely, from what I remember. Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Well, this one's easy. You have amnesia, you're in a castle, you lose your mind and monsters come after you. Sometimes they come after you even if you haven't lost your mind. And the reason you're in the castle, I'm just gonna assume it's one of those plots where it was like you were the bad guy the whole time. You put yourself in the position, either to punish yourself because you were guilty about guilty about awful things you did. You shouldn't have summoned those monsters and you felt bad about it because you had to sacrifice your only child to do it. So you put yourself in the amnesia castle as punishment for yourself, or you just lost your mind and repressed the hell out of it because it made you feel bad. And so you go through the whole castle fighting monsters, and then it turns out the monsters were you all along, and they came from your psyche. And at the end, you find a book that's like, yeah, it was me, I did everything. SpongeBob the Cosmic Shake. There's probably a mermaid in it. There's probably a cosmic shake in it. I don't actually know if a cosmic shake refers to, like, a drink. But let's say it does. Someone made the best dang drink in the whole of the undersea. Everyone in Bikini Bottom's in an uproar over it. Kind of like that one episode where there was those multiplying drink places that turned everyone green. There's this new drink craze that's shown up, and it was made by a mermaid who wanted to trick people into spending money on, like, it's not actually that good. It's just, it's like a hallucinogenic that messes with your mind after a while. So people should stop drinking this shake, but they don't know that because they just think it's a tasty drink. And if you drink it, the mermaid can mind control you. The Infamous series, you play as someone named Cole, I think. Maybe not in all of them. You shoot lightning out of your hands. There's a morality system where if you're being mean, you become a bad guy, and if you're being nice, you become a nice guy. You're part of the rebel resistance because the government hates mutant people who have lightning powers, and you're one of those. And so you've become infamous because you're like lightning power guy number one. And so it's kind of like X-Men. You're trying to, like, stop government, like, discrimination against people with superpowers. I'm gonna guess you got a friend who shoots fire, maybe it's a friend who shoots ice, or maybe a friend can levitate stuff with their mind. You maybe also can levitate stuff with your mind using lightning powers. You blast some fascist government agents with lightning powers. The Yakuza Like a Dragon series usually has you playing as some hard-boiled criminal from the underworld who gets into wacky hijinks while trying to clear their name because you've been accused of violating the Yakuza tenets in a way that you didn't, or clear your name from the authorities because you were accused of a crime you didn't do, because you look suspicious because you're a Yakuza guy. Wacky, super over-the-top fights ensue, as well as lots of karaoke. It's very important to get your karaoke in before you go clear your name for all that crime you did or did not do. And I'm assuming there's lots of, like, family drama where some other members of the crime family set you up because they don't like you because you're too scary and a threat to their power, or you're too, like, more morally okay, and they want the Yakuza to become morally worse under their rule or something. Final Fantasy XIV! So the Warrior of Light prophecy from the first game is back, but this time it's a lot less specific about how many use. It's not like 4 people came bearing shiny orbs. It's like some number of people, so basically everyone and their mother wants to be the new Warrior of Light, which is why a huge player base is now playing as Warriors of Light, doing collecting stuff to restore some magic orbs to their full potential. If it's anything like Final Fantasy 1, they're all competing, but no one really knows who the true Warriors of Light are. And like Genshin, the story is live service and changes over time, so who even knows what they're up to right now over there? They could be busy fighting the giant cupcake monster of the East right now. I haven't played the latest expansion, I'm sorry to say. I only 100%ed all the other ones. Easily on my first try with no deaths. The Sam & Max series is a point-and-click thingy about, are you cops or just like PIs? There's the sort of mild-mannered and straight-laced Sam, who is a big dog guy, and then there's Max the little rabbit who craves bloodshed and gore and chaos. And they kind of balance each other out, but they're both a little nuts. And they solve mysteries in a bizarre and strange world where unusual things happen. Such as, I think a statue of Abraham Lincoln gets up and rampages around the city at one point. They drive a car together. There's some implicit romance between them. But, you know, their penchant for getting into horrible, bloody mysteries keeps them from ever fulfilling their proper romantic endeavors, I imagine. It's not really time to have a nice picnic under the sun when Abraham Lincoln is stomping about causing a ruckus. Persona 4! I played Persona 1 and we're currently playing through Persona 3 on the channel, so I have like a sense of the kind of things you're doing in Persona. So I'm gonna guess that, and I know that there's like a TV motif. You like go into TVs or something. People's emotions are getting broadcast onto TVs. So if like you're really angry and upset, then a TV show plays that is very angry and upset in your mind, and you have to go into the TV if you have some kind of special power that lets you do that, and that lets you eradicate people's like out of control emotions or whatever, right? So like if their TV is playing the TV show of horrible depression, you can alleviate some of their depression by going and shooting the depression character in the TV with guns, presumably. And probably hitting him with a sword or two that couldn't hurt. I mean, these games are always about, like, facing your own psyche and stuff, so I'm gonna guess the whole thing ends with, you fight, like a giant, like it's like a Jumbotron New York Times Square dealio that has, like, everyone's out-of-control panic and emotions and fear on it, and then you, like, change all the emotions to love by shooting them. Or maybe it's like a giant TV that showcases your emotions. Anyway, you go to TV and you shoot some stuff and then it fixes things. Probably. The Tekken series. Tekken is Japanese for Iron Fist, I think, or like Iron Punch or something, or Iron Strike maybe. It's your classic fighting game setup of there's some tournament and that's why these characters are getting together and fighting. The tournament is hosted. I played Tekken Tag Tournament 2 a little, but like I wasn't paying attention to the story very much. The tournament is hosted by the Mishima family, I assume. Probably it was initially made by Heihachi, maybe Jinpachi. And it's a tournament that just purports to be like a sick MMA tournament, but is actually determined to decide the next head of the Mishima clan, because they decide through strength rather than through bloodline or something. Or no, you know, actually, I think I actually may be remembering this. Isn't it like the tournament is organized in order to find strong people? So that, I was about to use a comparison to another game, but that would be spoilers for that game. Jinpachi or whoever is running the whole thing is doing it to weed out strong people so that they can, like, take their life essence and use it to, like, get eternal life or something, or make themselves more powerful. So they're using the tournament to find strong people so that they can power themselves up, which is uncool because that involves killing said person, so we shouldn't let them do that. So you enter the fighting tournament hoping to get some money or whatever. You know, every character has their own reasons, but then you get to the end and Jinpachi is like, aha, now I'll kill you and take your power, so you beat him up. That's like the general plot of the whole series, and then I assume you like kill him in one of the first two, and then Heihachi takes over and the cycle just like repeats. And there's something about people throwing people into volcanoes at some point, probably. Hyperdimension Neptunia series. A bunch of strange folks go through the internet because the internet is the only way people communicate anymore, since global warming put us all onto islands. But that makes the internet a prime target for like viruses and things that'll steal people's information and like blow up their towns and stuff. So you're a bunch of people who go through the internet through a digital space to fight people to stop them from putting viruses on the internet that will kill everybody. And I'm going to guess that this is the farthest off I've been during this video, because that can't be right. But I also have no idea what this series is about. Looks absolutely nuts, though. I kind of want to try it sometime, knowing so little about it, just because of the little that I have seen is all just like fever dream nonsense. And so I'm like, there's no way they'd be able to keep that up for a whole game. I have to see this for myself. The Just Cause series. You're in some islands somewhere where like an awful murdery regime has shown up. And so you're like a freedom fighter who grab hooks onto stuff and blows up trains and things. And you meet a bunch of quirky characters on your quest to overthrow the government and put in a more democratic one or something. And you play as a guy named Rico in one of them. Rico Rodriguez, I think. So you're probably like across the series playing as people who are in hard times because of this whole awful, nasty regime, and so you rise up out of nowhere, and it's a story about the power of the people united, even when they are magnificently outclassed and underprepared. Also about grappling hooks. And finally, The Evil Within, which I, again, played like 5 minutes of. You're a cop named Sebastian, maybe, who is about to retire, but then you end up on one last crime scene, and it turns out to be the biggest crime scene of your life, because, there are monsters. And based on the title, I would assume the monsters somehow came from you? They come from your reservations about quitting your job or something? You're, like, haunted by the guilt of all the cases that you weren't able to solve and all the people you let down? And so these monsters are manifestations of your own guilt coming after you, chasing you for trying to leave the job when there are still people who need help, even though you're at the retiring age or something? So horrible psychoanalysis monsters show up, and they try and hack you up to get as like a manifestation of your own guilt for those cases that you got wrong when you were a cop in your prime, and the fact that you never made those things right even as you're retiring now. And so it's about letting go of past mistakes and not producing a giant sludge monster out of your brain that will try and kill you because you're guilty. So there you go, a good summary of a bunch of games that I've definitely not played because I had no idea what they're about, no matter what lies I might have told you over these past 20 minutes or so. Hey, if you played any of these series, feel free to tell me how close I was on any of them. I'm gonna guess not very on most. Well, there were some I probably got right, because like something like Tomb Raider and Sly Cooper, like I probably got most of the gist. Well, not Sly Cooper, because I have no idea why he would steal stuff. I feel like I wasn't far off on Tomb Raider, Sonic Forces, Amnesia, Sam & Max, Persona, Tekken. The other ones I'm not so sure about. That's over now, though. That was very fun. Next week on the channel is gonna be some more Persona 3 Portable, so we can get ever closer to seeing how right I was about Persona 4 by clearing Persona 3. Thank you so very much for coming around. Hopefully I'll see you around. Admiral's gonna be out of here now. Peace! Sounds like we can turn this one in right away. I don't know which of these I'll want to turn in first, or want to take on first. Like, I can have 3 on at once, is it? Well, I guess I'll probably, I mean, I guess there's no harm to just, like, if I can be at the mall and go say hello to Elizabeth then, I can just wait until May 14th.